Ray, and this is the solution video for Workout Wednesday 2021, week 31. So in this week's challenge, what I wanted to focus on was how to quickly distill hundreds of thousands, millions, billions, whatever, number of rows with all that data, and how to quickly move through it so that you can find kind of that needle in the haystack, which a lot of our stakeholder questions are, right? A lot of times they're like, which products matter? Which ones should I get rid of or take a second look at? And especially if you're dealing with a wide product base and insert product for whatever the thing that you analyze as a part of your job, being able to quickly move through that can save you days, hours, just in general, a lot of time, right? And also the other added benefit of this challenge is that this is something that's specifically covered as a part of the Tableau Desktop Qualified Associate Certification exam. So let's go ahead and move through this. So as you can kind of see, I want to understand which products are in the top 50 for sales and are unprofitable. But I also, because I don't want to, I want, because my stakeholder said, hey, I don't want to kind of throw the baby out with the bathwater. I want to understand which products are, have a lower than average customer base, and I want to kind of focus on those because maybe I can rationalize those out of the lineup, or we can do something else with those things, right? And so I wanted to kind of that kind of stacked question base. And so the question is, how do you actually do that? So what I'm going to do is I am going to open up a new workbook. All right, cool. I'm going to make that. We're going to connect to data. So this is using the sample superstore out of version 21.2. And so, the first thing I want to do is I want to identify which products are actually top 50 for sales. So I'm going to go ahead and create a set that just focuses on the top 50 products by sales. And so I'm just going to use that and sales. And I'm done with that set. The next set that I want to create is I want to identify the products that are not profitable. So unprofitable products. All right, cool. So I'm just going to use profit ratio maybe. And I want to say that it's less than 0, and that's what I'm going to do, right? So I have these two kind of, sets. Now the question is, I want basically, because I want to just be able to filter on the unprofitable products that are within the top 50. Well, a lot of people will go, well, why don't you just, duplicate the filter and have product name and filter by a top 50, and then have another product filter that filters among the ones that are below 0 in terms of profit. Well, the issue with that is you're going to get caught by the order of operations, and it's going to take out or leave in too much, right? And so the best way to kind of do that and to kind of have that, that layered kind of membership, if you're thinking about things in terms of a Venn diagram, is you can do a combined set. So I'm just going to, select my unprofitable products, and I'm going to also select my top 50 products. I'm going to right click, and I'm going to create a combined set. So we're going to just say top products that are unprofitable. All right, so it gives you a couple options, but the option that I care most about is I want those that are a part of this group, which is in the top 50, and that's also a part that are, is also unprofitable. So I'm gonna select this, right? But you have a couple options depending on your use case. All right, so I'm gonna bring over products. So as you can see, I have a whole bunch of products, right? Got all the products under the sun. But I only care about the ones that fit my criteria, which in this case are these. And so I'm going to bring over sales here. Cool. And I want to display that as a bar chart. Fantastic. Now, the other part of this challenge was, so now like I have only the products that are both within the top 50 for sales overall and that are unprofitable. But the next part is I need to display which category and subcategory these products belong to. Now, most people would take up some real estate doing something like this, which is having this all in one column, or in multiple columns. But part of this challenge was to get these two components, these two fields, directly underneath so they're actually in the same row. Now I'm going to so a little shortcut to actually do this is you're going to treat it like it's a measure. So I'm going to just have, say, min 1, but it could be anything, right? You can average 0, whatever. And so, because what I'm trying to do is create a little bit of space to do that. All right. So when I have this, now of course it's going to be kind of automatic, which is what I kind of want, but I want to switch this to bar just to make sure it is what it's going to be. And I'm going to, I want to kind of throw some labels on this. So the first label that I want to put is I want my product name, I want my subcategory, and I want my category on here. And it kind of disappeared because it's not big enough, right, in terms of the actual rows. So you're like, yeah, it kind of looks okay, but this is looking a little funky, right? And this is not exactly what we want. And you're absolutely right. So one of the things that I'm going to do is I'm going to just color this white. I'm going to take the border off of this. I'm also going to just do a little bit of some formatting here. I can grab it. And same thing with this. Cool. And I think it was this is like a different color, like a lighter gray. So we'll play around with it. Great. Doop. All right, and we're gonna also push this so it's over here. Great, so I'm gonna get rid of this that I had as an example. And the reason why it kind of disappeared is because the sizing of the rows kind of went weird. And I'm gonna go ahead and uncheck show header because I don't need this necessarily anymore, right? Awesome. So then the next thing that I'm going to do, and I'm going to bring this in just a hair. Great. Okay, so then the next part of this challenge was we needed to figure out what, I wanted to color these bars by if this product was higher or lower in terms of the number of, average number of customers. And if it was higher or lower than the overall data set, right? So the challenge that we have to get to is, well, what is the average number of distinct customers per product for this entire data set? So, of course, you can go about this multiple ways, but what I care about is an LOD because the reason why I want to go to LOD is because I don't want this to actually cloud my results, and this being the filter, right? And so LODs allow you to kind of skip over elements of the order of operations to get to what's going on overall in the data set, or however you want to do it. So I'm going to try to find the average number of customers, distinct customers. All right, so I know I want this to be fixed, and I want this, by product name, and I want a distinct count of customer names. All right, cool. And I'll throw average over here too. And I'll show you while we're not done, if I were to kind of just do something like this, right? What you would get is something that you probably would not want, which is, if I can actually click it, right? So you're going to get the actual average number of customers if you do it that way. So what you have to do, because the reason why it's going to do that and get you the individual ones, because it's kind of the level of granularity is the product name, which is the same level of granularity. So it's going to give you that, right? But I want to actually bring this up, and I'm just going to go ahead for the entire data set, and I'm just going to lock this into brackets so I can get that. Doop, doop, doop. And then I'll just show you what this looks like now. So now I have the overall, regardless of what product I'm looking at, the overall average for the number of customers per product, right? So this is exactly what I want. So I'm going to take this off the view, and I'm going to actually create a set now that is, by product name. So I'm going to create a set. But in this case, I actually want to do a formula, because I want to say, hey, so it's basically a binary. So does the average number of distinct customers, is it, let's say it's less than some, count distinct customer names, right? And it doesn't really matter if it's a sum or whatever. I'll just do this. Doop, 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 doop. Cool. And we'll give this thing a name, and we'll say higher than average. All right, and I don't want to filter. I don't want to filter by anything. I just want the bars to be colored based off of whether it belongs or not, right? Whether it's higher than the set or not higher than the average or lower. I'm just going to go ahead and recolor these just for consistency, and I will say the ones that are higher, we'll just call these gray, and the ones that are lower than average, we'll call those things whatever. And then we're going to just go ahead and show the mark labels, and I'm just going to, just because of formatting, I'm not going to format this in terms of how it was in the solution, but because I think this is essentially the entire solution. And I'm just going to do that. And there we go. So now within, I don't know how long this video was, maybe 5 or 10 minutes, maybe give or take. We now know, we basically distilled all of these products, and we found the 13 products that, fit the criteria that we wanted to look at. And we also know which products, have a lower than average customer base. So if we wanted to get rid of those, or do something different with those, we probably wouldn't hear a big roar from upset or angry customers if this product went away. So that's the solution for week 31 of Workout Wednesday 2021. And I hope that this was great, or a refresher if you kind of already knew some of this stuff. All right, and if you guys have any questions, go ahead and reach out to us on Twitter, and I'll be happy to answer any questions. Thanks.